We are here with head volleyball coach at UVA-Wise, Alyssa Hanley. Alyssa, thank you so much for being here, talking about the most recent match, a loss to Lincoln Memorial on the road, and the upcoming match that's Saturday against Lenoir-Rhyne. Lenoir-Rhyne's a very good team. We'll start with the Lincoln Memorial loss first. The big news for your team going into that one was the loss of Cassie Farley. She did not play in that match. You guys had a number of players who haven't seen much playing time this year kind of pick up the slack for her, and also freshman Riley Brandon was out. Bailey Connors struggled with injuries all year. It's not been a healthy season for you guys. Just so far, what's the status update on Cassie Farley and how she's doing?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we don't have her at the moment. As far as we know, she's out indefinitely. We just don't really know what her status is at this point, but we're hoping, obviously, to get her back and healthy as quickly as possible. It's been a hard adjustment for us, and we've had to obviously make some changes in our lineup and have, opened up some opportunities for some other people. So it was definitely a little bit of a tough game for us against Lincoln Memorial, dealing with, all those adjustments with not a lot of time to kind of adjust to that. So it was a tough game for us, but I think we still performed decently well for what we were dealing with, but we definitely have some work to do with these new changes.
And obviously the biggest thing in the loss of Cassie not playing in that match is her defense. She leads the conference in blocks per set. She's second in total blocks. You guys as a team are first in blocks per set. And in that opening set against Lincoln Memorial, 0 blocks for you guys. But we mentioned a bunch of players that got significant more playing time than they have this season. Did anybody stand out to you as really kind of taking advantage of that moment and standing out in that match, to kind of say, hey, maybe I can play moving forward?
I think so. In the opening set, we definitely struggled. Like you just mentioned, we had 0 blocks, which is not normal for us. I think there was a lot of tension and pressure in that first set, knowing that we didn't have Cassie and how do we make these adjustments, and people seeing the floor that don't normally see the floor, and they're kind of feeling that pressure that they have to step into those big shoes. So I think that's probably why we ended up with 0 blocks in that first set, but they bounced back quickly. And I think, Lauren Montez hasn't seen a lot of time, but she's been working really hard in practice, coming in for extra reps, and she's earned it. And I thought she adjusted to it quickly. She had several blocks in that game. Offensively, she helped us out a lot. I think she hit over 600. Serena Peterson also stood out. She's just such a joy to coach. She's a very positive person. She's willing to do whatever she needs to do to help the team, which is just fun. You want to root for those players, and so to see her get an opportunity and to do well was just really exciting to see.
Serena's really taken advantage of the last week because Riley Brandon, her freshman counterpart of the quartet of freshmen that you have, went out earlier in the week, and Serena recorded her first kill and block against Southern Wesleyan, and she got 4 and 2, and then she played well a little bit against Anderson, and then obviously Lincoln Memorial. How have you seen Serena progress throughout the season from who she was when she first arrived on campus to where we are now about halfway through the year?
The biggest change I've seen is just she's a lot more comfortable, which is what you expect with any freshman. The first opportunity she got when she was put in a game earlier in season, I think she kind of felt the pressure and made quite a few errors, and that's okay. That's to be expected, like I said. But when Riley went out, we needed somebody else to step up, and Serena is a physical player. She's the tallest on her team, so it made sense to kind of fill her in that role. And it took a second, but again, I thought she also adjusted really well, and she's just always willing to do whatever is best for the team. And so just excited for her.
Now I want to ask you about someone who's not a freshman and who has plenty of experience. Kaylee Scarce records her 10th double-double of the season, despite the loss to Lincoln Memorial. Kills and digs have been her thing all season long. Anytime you talk to a coach, in my experience, when you ask them the value of a specific player, usually one of the better players on the team, they always say consistency. And that's what you're getting this year from Kaylee, which maybe you didn't get in years past. I'm wondering from your perspective, how and why has she been able to be so consistent despite wins and losses and injuries and ups and downs this season? Kaylee Scarce has pretty much been there every single day.
Yeah. Last year I felt like Bailey Connor was kind of that rock for us. Unfortunately, she's been dealing with, a lot of different injuries that have kind of held her out. But we needed somebody else to kind of step up and fill that role. And I think Kaylee has definitely done that this year. Very proud of her for doing that. It's not an easy role to step into. To be consistent day in and day out is really difficult, especially when you're not having the best day. So she definitely has been a big part of this team and why we've had the success that we have so far. The reason and why she's consistent, I think what it boils down to is that she's just a true competitor. She's hungry to be better. And that's the only way you get to be that type of player, that type of rock that a team needs is how badly do you want it? And I think she's also worked a lot on her mental game. Last year, she wasn't the most consistent. And I think she's proven, looking at her stats, so she's a lot more consistent this year than she was last year. And I do think a big part of that is also her mental game, moving past mistakes and realizing, you can't be perfect in the game of volleyball, and mistakes mean you're getting better. So yeah, she's been a huge part for us.
And so moving forward, looking to Lenoir-Rhyne on Saturday, that's a very good team, 8-1 in conference on the year, 14-5 in total. Their only loss in the SAC is on the road at nationally ranked Wingate. Lenoir-Rhyne also has the only person in the conference in Kathy Peter who's got more total blocks than Cassie Farley does this season. What kind of challenge does that pose if Cassie's out again on Saturday? And just what's the key to finding a victory in front of a home crowd on Saturday against a very good LR team?
Yeah, we know what we're up against. They are a very good team. There's no beating around that. But and I think the challenge for us is going to be, with Kathy Peter, she's a tremendous blocker, just like we have with Cassie Farley. So she's going to slow down our offense a little bit. And I think the scary part about that is we've kind of struggled offensively all season long. So we're focusing on finding new ways to get kills. Are we using high hands? Are we tooling the block? Are we finding, holes in their defense that are around the block? So that's kind of our focus right now, is to move the ball away from her. Defensively, we're going to keep doing what we do. Blocking wise, we've been also focusing on that with, the changes in our middles and our right sides, just kind of getting them comfortable blocking next to each other. We've had kind of the same lineup in the front row all season, and they got comfortable with each other. And now, there's some changes. So just giving them the reps that they need to feel comfortable to close the block in the game.
Well, that's all coming up Saturday at 2 p.m. against the Cavaliers. Alyssa, thank you so much for being here. You can watch that on Flow Sports. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Thanks, Alyssa.
Thanks.